People fear failing the things that they love. That's my theory anyway.
Alright, this is Ryan and May's first time in Metro. It's Malaysian, not Sydney.
You are now approaching.
Pretty good.
Jeez. Ugh. I mean, why else do people fear of turning their passions into a job? Well, their passion is something they hold dear to their heart. And so when they turn it into a job, make it serious, and then they fail, it feels as if they just disappointed the thing they very love, and it's not fun anymore. Which tends to be why I put the things that they love into just hobbies.
My favorite part of Metro has always been in the front. The front is always the coolest.
I already updated Mama that we're on the train.
Yeah. Check how fast the thing's going.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. It's actually...
And so what happens when you do the thing that you love, but you fail miserably? Maybe not for a lack of trying. Maybe it is for a lack of trying. I don't know.
To change station with KL monorail line. You are now approaching Pavilion Bukit Bintang. This is an interchange station with
Let's hop on first.
But this is what my failure in Malaysia looks like. Ugh, man, that's a really hard crank. You gotta crank that. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a thing now. Now, usually I start off with like the grand message of what my reflection is, but I think for this one, I'll just tell you exactly what happened.
I guess this is where people do their office work.
So, we are like 8 or 9 days out in Malaysia, and with that, we already exhausted most of the places we wanted to go there, and thus, we have ourselves a lot of free time.
You know how much is it in Indo?
As I was enjoying a holiday, don't get me wrong, but I was also simultaneously working, recording, and doing all these reflections, and
Perhatian kepada semua penumpang.
I can't even talk
Train ini
normally.
akan bergerak perlahan kerana terdapat gangguan teknikal pada sistem. Terima kasih. Attention to all passengers.
Keeping a lot of that in my mind, you know? Because let's be real, no one talks about jobs and careers and like life decisions for 8 days straight. I definitely wasn't doing that in Malaysia. I had other interests, like a normal 20-year-old, you know? I have horse girls, I have Japanese men in spandex, and as of right now, thanks to Malaysia, giant Japanese men in spandex. Hi, Theo.
I'd always imagine if there's a stronger version of Superman, he'd be called Ultraman. So that's basically what happened. The last day I had in Malaysia, I decided to make an Ultraman video right here. Specifically all about Malaysia's very own Ultraman.
Anyways, back to Ultraman. You guys have your very own national Ultraman. Now, in my mind, I didn't see any particular issues here. Because, for starters, I'm talking about something that I really like, so bonus points for passion. Like, fully traditional Malaysian outfit that represents a whole nation, whole culture. 2, it's in a very interesting setting. It's in Malaysia, not like your usual office. The Look East policy, which includes Japan, Korea, and China and such. And not to mention, demographically, from my understanding, Malaysians really like Ultraman. That's the convention center right behind me. And I'm very certain that's also the place where many Ultramans in suits just do their appearances. So I thought, okay, there's all these three together. If I combine it and I post it, it'll surely be successful. Right? What could go wrong here? That was my brain. Their own main Japanese show. Malaysia gets a whole representation and a whole person in a whole outfit. Well, there's a lot of problems actually. For starters, it was a very rushed video. I literally only have a few hours of my time and I had to improvise a lot. And more of a science fiction. You're more interested in the monsters and the aliens and they're cool, and it's more interesting to see how the humans handle it. Two, it is visually a very boring video. It's literally just me talking to the camera about Ultraman, which you guys might not be interested for 20 minutes straight. The Ultraman Red would still get some very fair treatment in recent times. And this is probably the worst issue about that video. It's just pointless. It's very much a useless video. I mean, here, look, this is POV in Bali, right? That's my main channel right now, right? And I mainly talk about the serious stuff, about jobs, self-reflection, life, that heavy stuff. At this rate, I'm just gonna be alone and still broke. And money's great and all, but that's it, just money? Much as I want, no amount of patching or fixing, for better or for worse. All of a sudden, I did a 180. It's hey, by the way, I like Ultraman. Don't you guys like Ultraman too? A Malaysian animation and Suburaya Production, which is the creators of Ultraman, a new Ultraman has appeared. Ultraman Reboot. Where did you come from, Daimanani? I didn't sign up for this. Maybe I'll get a few brownie points, but at the end of the day, useless. It was just useless. There is the whole episode of Ultraman 1966. As though I watched a good, 6-7 episodes? Pretty ultra. And I think that's why people are so afraid. I'm very afraid of putting my passion as my job. Because very much so, I'm scared of doing something that I love, but then it ultimately fails. And rather than setting up the thing that I love for failure, I'd rather just keep it as a hobby, Something that I can do over and over again and will always be fun. There's no, pitfalls, Wow, it's pretty impressive. But screw that. Yes, I failed. Yes, I doomed over it for the past couple days. And yes, it was unbelievably cringe. But I shouldn't just mull over it. It should be a learning opportunity for me, is it not? Because if I give up now, well, that's it. All that effort really is just go down the drain. Instead, it really should be just analyzing what I failed, tweaking it a bit over and over again, trial and error. I mean, maybe ultimately, someday, I really hope this, maybe I'll make something I like, and it'll succeed, and I'll make money of it, and I'll live. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Get out. Which way is... Okay, going to a convention is probably gonna be super expensive though. I wonder if I'm ever gonna go to a convention center. Well, I know in Indonesia the convention center is gonna be in Jakarta. So sucks to be me. Alright. Let's war for your magnificent concrete jungles. It's now time to go home and get lunch. But ultimately, I asked myself, why go through all the trouble? Why put so much effort, so much love and passion into something when put on a career standard, very high probability it'll fail. Now, this might be me cope seed and molding, but I think it's because I'll go somewhere with it, you know? If I just kept my interest as simply a hobby, yeah, it's fun, it's good for my mental health, but that's it? When you can do so much more of it, better myself. I could use it to connect with people. You know, if I put it out there, like, yes, I'll fail and fall flat in the first parts, but hopefully I'll get back up and spring up way, way higher than if it just be flat all the time. But for now, simply must fall. Ah, jeez, that hurted. Ah, my hands hurt a lot. Well, I really do have a falling fetish, don't I? At long last, we have arrived at Raja Chulan. No. You gotta plop them in. You gotta plop them in. All right, my turn. And that's just from my own experience. I then did a little bit of research, which is really just throwing a bunch of words into Google search.